Good morning. You know, yesterday was it's not a very good day for some reason. I don't know. Just woke up and just wasn't feeling it. And with the support of a lot of people on the internet, which was very nice, I made it through the day. And a lot of people said tomorrow's going to be a better day. And so today is tomorrow. And so far, it is a much, much better day. You know, sometimes you just wake up and things just aren't hunky dory, so you just kind of take it one step at a time and make it through the day. That's what I did yesterday. I took a little time to just step away from work, and I sat out in the backyard and just looked at the sunshine, and that helped. And speaking of sunshine, see that on my face? That is sunshine. It's so nice. I've been waiting for that. It's been so gloomy. We get, well, I mentioned it before, we get May gray and June gloom. And the May gray was hitting strong in the early part of this week. It's supposed to be 95 on Saturday. And my lovely bride's bestie is coming into town today. So, really excited about that because she's a really cool person. I dig on her. She's my coffee buddy in real life. I have lots of coffee buddies, but she's my coffee buddy in real life. And she's going to take us and drag us out to the Renaissance Fair. Sorry, I'm going up a hill. Whew, a decent hill, too. She's going to drag us out to the Renaissance Fair, and her and my lovely bride get all dolled up in these dresses with corsets and shit. Oh, my goodness. My lovely bride is going to melt. She does not like being overheated. And I think that's what's going to happen. I brought my gimbal with me today. I have a DJI Mimo gimbal, which is really cool. I did a lot of research before I bought it because I thought, I may want to actually do some stuff like this, specifically some of my backyard fruit tours. And it works great until it doesn't. I tell you, I don't know, for some reason, it just spins around randomly, just can't find the target. You can press a button and it targets a face or something like that, and it's supposed to follow the face. And then randomly it'll just look off in the distance and just look around and do whatever. And then, you can press another button and it goes to the other camera so that you can see forward, and it just kind of looks around. I don't know. It's probably user error on my part, and I'm just going to have to try to figure it out. Read the manual. Hate having to do that. This is a very interesting hedge there. I don't know what it is. I've seen it other places, but check this out. It's got these fruits on it, and I don't know what they are. I don't think they're edible, but they look like they would be. Almost like a fig, kind of. Weird, huh? Maybe I'll have to do Google Lens right now and figure it out. I was right with my assessment. It is a kind of fig. It is a creeping fig. And it's native to Southeast Asia, and of course, like a lot of stuff, it has been brought here because it'll grow here. And the figs are edible, though, like a lot of stuff that are edible, I don't think anybody really eats it. Google Lens says that it's eaten in Taiwan, and they're dried out and used like a fig would be. So kind of interesting. And I've seen it a few places, and every place that I've seen it, it is kind of climbing up something. Oh, sunshine. So that makes total sense. All right, we're gonna walk along a little more busy street, but it's kind of the direction I wanted to go today, so we'll see what happens. A great big huge LA school district school bus, one of those big Bluebird ones, just drove by, and I thought to myself, oh shit, I'm gonna get covered in diesel smoke. And as it went by, I noticed, oh, look at that, that's kind of cool, it's got green wheels. I thought, green wheels? That's unusual and random. And then it continued to go by me, and it was silent. Absolutely silent. It's an electric bus. That was so cool. And, you know, I mean, obviously we know electric technology is out there. You know, no matter what you feel about the batteries and the precious metals and stuff that you have to get for them, it's a start. We have to get off of all of the petroleum-based products. You know, yes, I know everything is made from petroleum, but that petroleum is not a finite resource. It will be gone someday. And, you know, why not start trying to look for alternatives now? And by the time that petroleum starts to really run out, hopefully battery technology will be such that it's very inexpensive, uses common materials, and, you know, has the type of power density, power storage that petroleum has. We can only hope. We have to do that for future generations, you know? It's important. I'm going up a pretty decent sized hill here, so I may be huffing and puffing, but I wanted to expound a little bit on the true to seed type thing. So, talking about the accidentals and the mutations, the story goes that the Hass avocado came about as an accident. I think it's a true story. I don't know for sure, but the story I read was that I think it was out in Riverside, somewhere here in Southern California. There was a large avocado research facility, and they had grown a ton of rootstock, grafted on a ton of varieties, trying to make new varieties, things like that. Well, one tree off in the corner, the graft didn't take. So the rootstock, remember, grown from a seed, from a seedling, the rootstock grew up and took over. And the tree basically grew into a full-grown tree. And when they discovered that they screwed up and the graft died, when they discovered the tree, guess what? Had fruit on it. So they tasted the fruit. They were like, holy baloney. Oh, look, there's another little library. They tasted the fruit, and the fruit was amazing. So a guy by the name of, wait for it, Hass, he said, hey, we should propagate this tree. So they took cuttings, they took scions, they took air layers, whatever they could to propagate the tree through cloning. And they created the Hass avocado, which is now the largest commercially available variety in the US, maybe even the world. And so that's how it came to be. My own mango tree, I bought it as a Kensington Pride mango. And when it grew up, I didn't know anything. This was 2016. I didn't know anything at all about, you know, mangoes or grafting or anything. So I'm gonna stop for a second. Sorry, lots of traffic. So anyway, tree grows up, gives me fruit. Fruit were really, really good, but they did not look like a Kensington Pride. They looked more like an atolfo, which you can get them in the grocery store. They are a kidney-shaped yellow mango, commonly called a champagne mango or a honey mango. Yeah, very good, but it had some fiber to it, which I'm not a big fan of. And the Kensington Pride supposedly does not have that much fiber. Well, time goes on, and there's these different branches down at the bottom that, rather than the rest of the tree, these branches were curved a bit. They curved around. They didn't grow straight. And one year, I got mangoes on those branches. And those mangoes were fundamentally different from all the rest of the mangoes on the tree. Those were the Kensington Pride. They were large, closer to round. They were no longer kidney shaped, and virtually no fiber at all, and unbelievably good. Yep. So what had happened is the guy I bought it from, he grafted a Kensington Pride, obviously, onto an atolfo, and the graft never really took off, and he allowed the rootstock to continue to grow. And so that's why I basically have 2 mangoes on one tree. Unfortunately, the Kensington Pride portion is relegated to a couple small branches. That's one of the reasons why I cut back my mango tree so severely last fall, to try to force growth into the Kensington Pride graft area. So we'll see. Hopefully I'll get some fruit this year. I don't think I will because of the severe pruning that I did, but next year. Look at that. This little guava tree has guavas on it already. Mine hasn't even leafed out yet. What's up with that? Gosh, there's another big guava tree right there, and there's some fruit on it. I want fruit on mine right now. Look what I found. I found a cherry tree that actually has a couple cherries on it. Highly unusual to see in Southern California. They have some netting up, so I'm assuming that they get some fruit off of this every year. Be curious to know what kind of cherry tree it is. I love cherries. I've mentioned before that most cherry trees don't grow here because they require a lot of chill hours, which we just don't have here in Southern California. So that's one of the reasons why I have so many tropical types of cherries growing in my yard. And most of them are from the Eugenia species. So, you know, Suriname cherry, I've got cherry of the Rio Grande, I've got Grimachama, I've got Eugenia catulifera, which supposedly has small little cherry-like fruits. I've never had it before, but hopefully someday it'll fruit for me. And from another species, I've got Barbados cherry, which, oh man, I should show you guys. My Barbados cherry tree is loaded with flower buds. I'm very excited. I should get some fruit off of it this year. It is in a perfect location. It is out on my back patio where it gets a lot of sun and a lot of heat, which they want. And in addition, it's in a pot, so I'm keeping it nice and moist. Combination of all that, yeah, I should get some fruit. So yesterday, I thought, I was kind of down yesterday, and I was thinking a lot about Benny, our pup that we lost a few weeks ago. And I'm not gonna be sad today. I'm gonna be really upbeat and remember the good, happy times with him. Well, stepping up onto this curb reminds me of what a smart boy he was. So as he got older, he started getting some cataracts, and he really couldn't see very well, especially if there was sun shining at a low angle. You know, kind of the same if you had super, super dirty glasses. And so the poor guy, he would fall off of curbs as we're on our walk, and then on the other side of the street, he would run into the curb. So I started saying curb, and he would stop, and then he would look and smell, and then he would step down, and then he knew that 20 or 30 feet later there would be another curb, and he would slow down and he would wait, and then he would jump up on the curb on the other side. He was such a smart boy, and that only took him a couple walks to figure that out. Well, I guess if you fall off a number of curbs, you learn something pretty quick. But that was a happy thought. It's going to end up being a long walk today. I'm walking all the way around pretty much the circumference of my neighborhood. Kind of interesting, I never used to walk, but I'm getting older, and a year ago I was like 205 pounds, which wasn't the heaviest that I've ever been, but I certainly was carrying a lot of weight on my belly, so a lot of visceral fat around my organs and stuff like that. Had high cholesterol, kind of high blood pressure. The doctor was getting concerned about that. Lots of aches and pains. My back would be tweaky sometimes. Basic old person stuff, and that's kind of what I thought. But working in IT, I have a pretty much sedentary lifestyle, and for some reason I decided, let's not drink as much as we used to. So both my wife and I, we decided to cut way back on our drinking. It just wasn't, it was not really doing much for us. It was fun, but the after effects, getting horrible sleep, feeling bloated, and just bleh the next day, we just decided not to drink as much. So it went from having a beer or two a night or a cocktail a night, never heavy drinkers, but a beer or two a night, that's a lot of beers over the course of a week. So we went from that down to no alcohol during the week. And, we'd still, if we went out or something like that, we would still go ahead and have a drink with dinner or something, but never as much as we used to. And my lovely bride always exercised. I hate it. Until I found walking. And it was a self-fulfilling prophecy, because as I lost weight, it became easier to walk. And as it became easier to walk, it became easier to lose weight. And so now I'm down about 30 pounds from where I was this time last year. And, walking a couple miles would have been a lot of huffing and puffing for me previously. And my overall average, my weekly average, is up over a mile a week. So I think I'm doing pretty good. And I've noticed that my demeanor, I'm in a much, much better mood when I do my walk in the morning. And having you guys come along with me now, it's just making it so much better. Even though there's only like 4 or 5 of you that come along with me. But you know what? I appreciate it. Well, I'm headed up the last hill towards home. It's about 5 minutes to 8, and I actually have to hop on a meeting here in about 5 minutes while I'm still walking, I think. I don't think I'll be home by then. So I got to run. Thanks for coming along with me. Everybody be good humans and have a great day.